In this Autodesk Fusion tutorial, we're going to make a simple box that can be 3D printed with a 3D print-in-place hinge. And this will be a simple one. It won't have any clasp enclosure, but it will have a cone-style print-in-place hinge that can be printed without supports. This is a good project to practice modeling on, print, and then make iterations and modifications to make the design your own. To get started, we'll click Create Sketch. Click on this plane, and then we'll draw a center diameter circle by pressing C, click on the origin, and type 16. We're going to model this in part design. We could also model it in hybrid or assembly design, but for a simple basic prototype design like this, sometimes it's better just to start going and then figure it out later. Even though Fusion rule number 1 says to create a component, we already kind of are doing that in part design, and then once we've worked out our design, we can make it parametric and very usable later. Sometimes it's more of a hindrance to get all the parametric features in the beginning. Next, we'll select L for the line tool. Click right here, draw straight down, then draw over to the circle. Select the tangent constraint and click both of these lines and make them tangent with the circle. Press D to dimension, select this line, and type 55. This will allow the printer to print this in place without any overhangs or supports. We'll also draw a line for the other side of the box. So we'll draw from right here, straight down, and then over to the hinge part. Make sure this has the vertical constraint and that both of them are tangent. We could define this angle again, or we could make both points horizontal. So for example, I can click this point, the horizontal vertical constraint, and this point, and then make sure this line is tangent, and that should lock everything down. We can now finish the sketch. Press E to extrude. It doesn't matter which side you start on, but just be consistent. I'm going to start on this side, and then I'm going to extrude 25 millimeters. This distance is up to you. You can have many little pieces of a hinge or one long hinge. It's really up to your design preferences. Now, create a sketch on the other side of this hinge, right here. Press C for the center circle, click on the origin, and type 10 millimeters. Press E to extrude, select that profile, and type 5 millimeters. 5 is half of 10, so that's a good rule of thumb. And then the taper angle should be -35. Make sure the operation is join and press OK. Now we can show the original sketch. Remember, Fusion hides the sketches. Press E to extrude. Now we'll select these pieces. The distance will be the same. If we type 25, suddenly Fusion will try to cut this. We don't want it to cut. We want to make a new body, but this is in the wrong spot. So instead of starting at the profile plane, we'll start at an offset, and the offset will be 25 millimeters. Press OK. We can hide that first sketch, and now we need to cut out the cone from this piece. So select Combine, and when you're using the Combine tool, the target body is this one. That's the cake. And the tool body is the knife that cuts the cake. Make sure the operation is cut. And then we need to keep the tools. If we don't keep the tool, this one will disappear. So make sure you check that box and press OK. Now, if I hide body 1, you'll see that that is cut out. But we need to make some clearance because right now everything is right next to each other and it won't work. So modify, offset faces, select these flat faces right here, and type -0.3. One more offset face, and this time select the cone surface and go -0.2 to give it a little bit tighter clearance so it moves nice and smoothly. Now hide body 2 and show body 1, orbit around, modify, offset face, all of these flat faces first, -0.3, modify, offset face, select the cone, -0.2. You can tell that this happened because now there's a gap right here. This is the clearance that will allow the print-in-place hinge to work. But we don't have much of a box. So let's go ahead and make a box. We'll create a new sketch. Make sure we click on this origin plane. It's always a good idea to sketch on origin planes. Press P to project, and we'll project in both of these sides and then say OK. With the rectangle tool, start on one of these points and drag out. Draw another rectangle on the other side. I'm leaving this at a different height intentionally to show you the collinear constraint. Select this one and this one. Now those are stuck collinear. Use the equal constraint for the tops because those need to be the same size. And then we need to dimension this. So let's say it's 25, 25. So it's going to be 100 millimeters wide. So we can make it 100 millimeters this way. So it is just as wide as it is deep. And then for this, let's make it 50. That way it'll be 100 tall. Then we'll press E to extrude, select this face and this face, and the distance will be 50 because that's 2 of the hinges. And we want to make sure it says new body and press OK. So now we have still not a box. We need to make these open, so we'll use the shell command. If you want to have everything rounded, you could fillet these outside corners first if you wanted to. But for now, I think it'll be fine without the outside corners rounded. So select shell. If I select just the top face and type 2 millimeters, it only shells the top, but I want to mirror this. So if I hold Control or Command, I can select 2 faces and it shells an open box. Press OK. One more shell command. Select this face and type 2 and press OK. Right now we still have 4 bodies, so we're going to combine them together. Select Combine, select this body and this hinge piece. Defaults to cut, but we want combine, and now we don't want to keep the tools. So uncheck that and select OK. One more combine, select this hinge and this body. Make sure it's combined, not keep tools, press OK. So now we're back down to 2 bodies, but we need to close the box. Select Create, Mirror, make sure it's bodies, select both bodies. Then for the mirror plane, we'll select this plane right here. And the operation should be Join, and press OK. You'll know that this has worked if you still only have 2 bodies. We still need to chamfer and fillet this for printing and ease of use, but we can inspect with the section tools. Inspect, Section Analysis, click this plane, and then you can see as I move the section analysis up and down, we can see that print in place hinge. Now we need to prep this for 3D printing. Generally, we want to fillet all of the edges, and we want the base of this to be chamfered. So we'll go ahead and chamfer that at the end. We'll make sure that we don't click any of these edges. So let's do the vertical pieces first. And sometimes it's a good idea to hide one of the bodies. That's up to you. So I'm going to click all these vertical pieces. So to give that a nice round look, filleting those in 6 millimeters. If I do both the outside and inside at the same time, it'll work okay. Press OK. Then we'll show body 2, and we'll do the same thing. Click Fillet, select all the outside and inside pieces. Sometimes it's a good idea to go ahead and fillet pieces like this at the same time. It just depends on your design and what's happening. Just pay attention and be prepared to go back and edit things. I think on both of those, I want to also fillet the inside of the box, so I'll edit both. Edit Feature, hold Control or Command, and select that bottom face, and press OK. Right-click on this feature, Edit Feature, hold Control or Command, select that bottom face, and press OK. So now it has a nice, solid bottom. We need to also fillet all of these pieces to be nice and smooth, so click Fillet, and then go around and get all the edges that don't have a fillet on them. Once you have everything selected, make sure it's a multiple of your 3D print filament. So I'm going to type 0.8 and press OK. Hide the body so it's easier to see the other one. One more time, fillet, and then select all the extra edges. And then 0.8. Now we can show both bodies. And because we're going to 3D print this just like this, we want to have a chamfer on the bottom. That way there's no sag or distortion of the print right on the print bed. Click Modify, Chamfer, select both these faces, and then type 2. Give it a nice strong chamfer. That'll make it look really nice. And press OK. Hopefully you've been able to follow along and make a basic 3D printed box with a print-in-place hinge that you can then use to modify and change. There's lots of variations. For example, this box has the lid and the base the same size. There are other variations where you can print a thinner lid, but you have to reorient the hinge. So go ahead and try those experiments. Put designs and textures on the outside and print lots of 3D printed boxes that are custom. Later, we'll look into how to make this entire design robustly parametric with parameters so we can type in a few numbers and have the design update automatically. All the hard work is done because now the prototype is complete. Happy 3D modeling!